You know what I am going to do? I need you guys to teach me how you get the video, how you do the videos and the all the fun stuff you do on social
Yeah.
medias to promote your show. I need you guys to show me that.
Okay. That'll be
Seriously.
goose. I don't
Who
do I don't
Oh,
do
is
that.
it I was
Yeah.
going to ask you who it was, who makes all the videos. Cuz I saw the one today on TikTok for him. I was like, "Dude,
Yeah.
show me that."
Yeah, he loves it. He's good at that stuff.
Yeah. All right. So let's. Oh wait, I don't have to share out there, but I do need to share out this way. Host. That's the only bad thing is sharing it out. Oh, we got viewers already.
Oh,
Hey, rock
hey.
on. Hey everyone. Good evening, good night. No, just kidding. It's one of those days. I'm super tired today. I don't know what it is. I
Yeah.
had the last 2 days off because my son actually had surgery this morning. So
Oh, geez.
yeah, it was minor surgery, tubes in the ear so he can hear.
Oh,
I don't have to scream anymore.
nice.
Now I can whisper.
That's going to be an adjustment. Hopefully, you're not screaming while he's got better hearing.
Well, this is his third time having tubes in his ears. So
Wow.
yeah, it's kind of yeah, it's kind of different. So but anyways, tonight we have hi Bob. Tonight we have Denise. Everybody knows D Nice from the Cryptic Show, but she's also one of the caretakers at Madison Seminary. So we're going to talk a little bit about everything today.
Caretaker
And
is a really weird word to me.
why?
I don't know. I feel like it sounds like somebody that works at a funeral home or something, or a cemetery. Is that where they are?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we are dealing with spirits,
Yeah.
so
True.
I mean, it all goes hand in hand.
Right.
Um, but yeah, let's send this out. All right, so tell me a little bit about yourself, D Nice.
Well, I have been a volunteer at Madison Seminary for coming up on 4 years now. Um, I went for a flashlight tour, fell in love with the building, not in a weird way, fell in love with Adam and everything that he was doing. I'm walking through the building and I see the vision that he has. I see everything that he wants to do with the building. Like I can picture all of the rooms full of furniture. And when I left there, I turned around and I said, "Do you take volunteers? Because I have to work here." And
Right.
I came back the next week and I was a watcher on tours. And then the week after that, I was leading tours.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I was not messing around. I knew I had to be there. So
And what made you feel like you had to be there?
I don't know. I just it was never like I really want to volunteer here or I really want to come back sometime. I literally told Adam, I have to work here. And like it's just crazy how the building kind of I swear it just brings whoever it needs, like everybody
Hmm.
who's there is meant to be there. Um the My house is like 20 houses away from the seminary and
Oh, that's nice.
it's it's like a huge house. Like I'm not bragging or anything, but like it's a huge house and it was super cheap and it sat vacant for 2 years on the market. Nobody bought it. Like the fact that I ended up here 20 houses away, I don't know, it's just super weird to me.
Well, it was meant to be then. It was meant to
Right.
be. Now,
Yeah, and
does your
I never had the feeling of wanting to be there. I always felt like I had to be there.
so somebody was calling to you,
Yeah, or the building itself. I don't know.
right? Now, do you feel like you have stuff going on in your house if it's empty for a while?
I definitely do. Um, I don't think my kids can hear me, but I
You're
don't
like,
want to talk
shh.
about it in front of them.
Oh, then don't talk about it. It's fine.
No, there's definitely some stuff going on here, and all of my kids have experienced things here, and I have as well. Um, but I don't know if it's from, this used to be my house wasn't built till 1976, and this all used to be farmland.
Hmm.
So I don't know if it was attached to that or
Right.
what, but it's definitely not like something that's been with me my whole life. It's
Well,
something that was here.
1976 isn't that old. I mean, it's the year I
Right.
was
That's
born.
what I'm saying.
I'm
So
45. I was born in
yeah,
76, so it
yeah,
ain't that
it's
old.
not, yeah, it's not, you know, when you think of haunted houses, you think of like super old, like 100-year-old
Right,
houses
right.
and they're falling apart. Like this is a new house in the grand scheme of things.
Hold on one second. What?
Uh-oh.
I accidentally stick my finger in my ear.
You'll be fine. I promise you'll be fine. Just be
Don't do
careful.
it. Just don't do it again.
I know, right? Sorry, everybody. He had
Welcome to the Mom Podcast, where our children will be interrupting us for the next hour.
Exactly, right? Sorry.
Yeah.
If you guys didn't catch the very beginning, my son had surgery this morning. It was minor surgery, but he has tubes in his ears now, so they told him to keep his fingers out, and he, but it's all good. Everything's good.
Yeah.
We're all good,
I actually did an interview. You know, we do MadCon and we do it to benefit cystic fibrosis.
Right.
And that's because of Easton Musgrove,
Mhm.
who has cystic fibrosis. And I thought it would be super cool, like mom to mom, to interview Krista. Because, you know, everybody talks about what Easton goes through, but nobody
Yeah.
focuses on Krista.
Right.
And you know, I can't imagine what she goes through dealing with that.
Right.
And so we snuck away into the seminary. We're doing this super sweet interview. We're both crying. And then all of the kids come running up the stairs. And I was like, well, that's perfectly accurate. Like that was a perfect interruption.
Well, that's just like being a mom. I mean, how many children do you have?
3.
Okay,
All boys.
I have 3 too. Well, I have 2 boys and a girl. But it's like when they were little, it's like even going to the bathroom, you can't lock
Right?
the door. Don't matter. They figure out how to unlock it at
Right?
1 years old. They're like,
And
okay, how did you get in here? Like,
right.
I
And
need
I'll come
5
home.
minutes.
I'll come home from the seminary at 3 or 4 in the morning and then go to the bathroom and then somebody knocks on the door. I'm like, are you kidding me? It literally doesn't matter what time of day it is. They're there.
If it's not the kids, it's the dogs. If it's not
Right?
the dogs, it's the husbands.
Oh
Like,
my
come
gosh.
on. I saw a TikTok where a lady it was about they're like, does your wife ever sit in the car for 15 minutes when she gets home from work and just sits there? And I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, we all do
Yeah.
it. We
Yeah.
just need that 15 minutes of peace and quiet to
Right.
not talk, because I talk to people all day long.
Right.
And I
Or
know
I'll
you
just
do, because you're a nice realtor.
yeah.
So if anybody needs a house in Ohio,
Yeah.
call Denise. She'll find you a perfect house.
That's all right. If we need to do some investigating to see if it's haunted, we will.
Now, how did you get into real estate? Because
I actually oh gosh, like 8 years ago started working with my boss, but on the charity aspect, because my oldest, who's 18 now, he actually stuffed an ambulance full of toys twice for her charity.
nice.
Yeah, he learned about what she was doing when he was like 10 years old, and he stuffed an ambulance full of toys. Like he's donated probably over $30,000 worth of toys to her charity.
Wow.
And, you know, so I met her that way. And then a few years ago, I started working in the office. I was just doing social media marketing, things like that. And she always would tell me, she's like, you need to become a realtor. And I'm like, Asa, I don't have time or money to go to school. You know, I can't. I would love to. And she's like, you'd be so good at it. You need to do it. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. Well, then COVID happens and I'm stuck at home with my kids. So I got plenty of time.
Right.
And they gave us a stimulus. So I had the money. Like I had no excuses anymore. So I took the classes and I love it.
And it looks like you're doing really well, because I saw the post about you're one of the top, sellers at your branch right now.
Top listing agent in January.
So that's awesome. That's awesome.
I mean, now, I am super, I do bust my ass. I'm going to be honest. I work from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed. I'm always doing something. So it's not like it's just like oh, she's lucky or whatever. Like this is one of those businesses where you get what you put into it.
Oh yeah. Right,
And
right.
so I've been working as hard as I can, and yeah, I got my license in October, and then in January I was the top listing agent, and we have like
That's
30
awesome.
something agents. So
Now, do they know that you're a paranormal investigator?
yeah, I'm actually trying to organize a like team building night at the seminary and have everybody come up, and I'll give them a tour, and we'll investigate for the night.
That's fun.
So, yeah.
Now, how does that help you, like, with selling the older homes? Do you ever feel like anything happens, and if so, do you ever tell your clients?
I kind of have to feel it out, because some people you can't talk about that kind of stuff with.
Right.
As soon as somebody says something like, I wonder if this is haunted, then that's it. Then the floodgates open, and I'm like, listen, when I pulled up, I saw a lady in the window upstairs.
Have you ever got anybody to buy the house then by doing that?
Because it's haunted? No.
Oh. See, I'd be like, this is sold right here. Is my house. My spirits.
Yeah.
I think,
and it was funny. I was standing in that same house. I was actually standing there talking to the lady who was selling it, and we're just standing there in the dining room, and we're talking about her husband who had passed away. And all of a sudden the dining room door starts opening. And I'm just like, Betty? And she's like, oh, I guess he's here. I'm like, oh my God. I guess this is not a new thing.
Right. Oh, that would be fun though.
Yeah.
I'd be like,
I do have a friend that sits at open houses and will bring her equipment, like her Phasma box and her K2. And then if nobody comes, she will do investigation, but then as soon as people pull in the driveway, she just puts it in her briefcase and,
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. It's possible to be both.
Right. That's cool. See, that's probably what I would do. I'd be they're like, what's this? Oh, I'm just checking for,
Yeah, checking the electrical. Looks good. Great.
They're like, but there's no electric outlet right there. I know, isn't that weird?
Weird. I'm going to put a note to have that looked at by the inspector.
That's too funny. So, well, let's talk about working at the seminary. I know you said you got into it because you felt like you were called. So when you were doing the tours at first, because I know I took it, the very first one I went to was last year. And I don't know if you remember what happened to me on the tour. You probably don't, because you were very, very busy.
I get tunnel vision when I do tours.
Okay.
I could have footsteps right next to me. I just focus on my job, and I focus on the things I need to say and making sure everybody's having a good time. And that's it. Like, people will be like, do you see that shadow figure in that door? I'm like, no, I don't pay attention.
Now, do you say this? Do you have it like memorized where you say the same thing every time, or is it different?
It kind of depends on who the people are. If it seems like you have somebody who's rolling their eyes all the time when you mention paranormal, then you tone down the stories. But if there's people who are super into it, you get into the really weird stories that like you don't just tell anybody because they're going to look at you like you're crazy. But if people are really into it, then I don't care.
Right.
You could think I'm batshit crazy. That's fine.
Well, I don't know, but I think we're all a little on the weird side. So,
right.
I mean, if you're going into, I don't know, I just stay quiet on that comment. I don't want to offend anybody.
Yeah.
But, when I went there last year for the first time for the MadCon 3, it was. Actually, was that 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Has it already been 2 years?
Yeah.
Damn. Okay, so MadCon 3. Yeah, because it's going to be MadCon 5 this year.
Yeah.
Ooh. So MadCon 3 was my first year there. And it was we did the day tour, which was what, a half an hour, 45 minutes?
It's an hour. It's an
hour.
Is
it an hour?
Yeah, we just run them every half hour.
Oh, okay. It didn't feel like an hour. We
have 2 tours in the building, but it's an hour tour.
Oh, it didn't feel like an hour.
I know, it goes so fast. People don't believe me.
it really didn't feel like an hour. But
Yeah.
so what happened to me was I think it was the third floor. It was the floor underneath the women's ward, the
Okay,
very
where
top.
like Sarah's room is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sarah's the floor was Sarah's room. So you were talking right there by the top of the steps, and you were speaking about a gun that you got, that supposedly is hidden on the property,
Oh,
and
yeah.
and all of a sudden I started getting this really deep sadness come across me, and I was trying to hold it in, and I was like, she needs to just move on and stop talking about this gun. Like, just stop talking about it, please. Like, I'm literally saying this in my mind.
Yeah.
Like, stop talking about this gun because I'm about to break down here, and I don't want to do it in front of everybody.
Right.
So, yeah, Darren was on their tour, and so was his son. So you were talking about it, and then you took everybody to Sarah's room, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna stay back for a minute to collect myself. I was like, take a deep breath, and then I walked by Sarah's. I was like, nope, can't do that. Literally, I peeked in. I didn't even walk in the room. I didn't peek in. I just looked at it, walked around, went back to where we originally started on that floor, and I broke down. Like, I waited, and then you took everybody upstairs, and I just lost it. I totally, completely lost it. Was crying, couldn't breathe, hyperventilating. And Darren's son stayed behind. He's like, are you okay? I'm like, I don't know what's going on. This is not like, I never done this before. Like, tell me what's going on.
Right.
Like,
I don't know if I'm okay because I don't even know what's happening.
I honest to God, I'm like, what the hell? I mean, when I say I was bawling, I was like crying if somebody just, like, my mom just passed away,
Right. Yeah.
And so his son is like trying to coach. So he's like, would you like to hold the stone? Maybe it'll help. And I'm like, sure, give whatever you want to give me because I need this to go away.
Right.
Finally, I calmed down, and I was able to go back upstairs, and I was just like, what the hell was that? Like, what was that?
Right.
I don't know. That was my experience there. I was like, okay, something affected me in the building. So obviously there's stuff going on. And I don't know if I was feeling the stuff from the fourth floor, the women's ward, because you were saying some really sad stuff about that floor.
Yeah.
I don't know. But that was my experience there.
Yeah. It's definitely a weird place. I've heard a lot of people tell very similar stories, about whether they get super angry or super sad, just definitely similar stories.
Okay, so I'm not the only one.
No, not even close.
Good. So I'm not weird. Thanks.
Yeah. That's only happened to me once there. And it was in a really weird place. It was in the basement. There's like that little room that looks like a holding cell.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a file storage room, according to the county. We don't even like really investigate in there because everybody wants to go into the room with the hole in the floor,
Right.
But for some reason we walked in there and I just started bawling and I was like, Shelly, what is this? What's happening? Like, what was this room? Why is this happening to me right now? Like, I don't normally go in there, so I don't know if it's just because I don't. That's why it only hit me that one time, but I was like, I don't even know what I'm crying about. I couldn't even pinpoint it.
Is that where people say they see a shadow figure of a man in that room? Is that the room, or?
It's like when you go into the laundry wing, you just look straight, and it's that little room there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we did that tour, and I remember the whole, because I was told by somebody else, please tell me what you feel from that hole, and I was like, okay, I'll try to remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, okay.
Yeah. Oh, I can't click on
everyone. Well, I have it on my phone because if I type on the actual computer, it'll say the same message 3 times from each of the 3 locations that I'm streaming from.
Yeah.
So I just do it.
Well, if you click on it, then it'll put it up on the screen. So that's what I was trying to do.
Oh, you want hers, Addie?
I forget that this is not my show and I can't just do it.
Well, tell me which one you want me to put on.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I was looking at that one because it's it doesn't even make sense. Like the room actually goes down a few steps, and then there's a bench in there. Like, okay, first of all, if you're going to put files somewhere, you don't make it down lower where it would be the first place to flood, you know?
Right.
And then like I'm pretty sure files like don't get tired. They don't need a bench. They don't need that.
Right.
It's just funny. Yeah, Julie.
Denise had a fun experience when Mom Shelly and I were trying to scare her with the purge mask in the windows at the seminary.
Yeah.
I literally wasn't for sure she was going to get out of her car.
I wasn't even for sure I was going to get out of my car. I show up there, and you know, they had been there for a while. I don't know if I had the show or just was waiting to put the kids to bed or what, but I got up there later and I get out of the car. The building's completely dark. They have all the lights off, and there's a purge mask in every single window of the lobby. And I'm like, come on.
That would be funny. But that would be something I would want to do. You know, I mean, Ace and I were the caretakers for the Detroit 6 precinct, and it was pretty cool. And, you know, I always tell them, I'm like, I miss our home away from home because, you know, we were there a lot. And you really do get to know the spirits that you are caring for when you take care of the building. So what spirit?
I love it. Like, I'm such a nerd for like, okay, when I walk down the hallway, I just imagine all of the hundreds, thousands of people that have walked down that hallway since, you know, the building was built, and just like how different life was when,
for sure,
you know, when the building was functioning, and, you know, just how, I don't know, I just love that part of it. And so like every time we get a new piece of furniture or set up a new room or whatever, like I love it.
I do too. And you know, it's funny, but I don't know how you were when you were little, but growing up in school, it's like, oh my God, history class. And then you're like trying to fall asleep in history because they're talking about this and that. And I'm like, man, if they only would talk about buildings, like the historical part of the building, not what war we, you know, went on. You know, I know those are important too, but
history was hard for me because there's so many dates. I'm not good at dates.
I was just going to ask you, how old is the seminary?
Okay, I do know it was built in 1847, but that's literally like, that's the end of the dates for me. I could give you a roundabout time for everything, but like, that's what one of the things that, you know, Adam said in my first flashlight tour that really like hit me was like, you know, he wants it to be like everybody just walked out of the building and never came back. Like it's a time capsule.
Oh, and for sure they are.
One of my favorite things about this job is, you know, they'll have Friday night flashlight tours, and you'll have the football team come in. They're all riled up from their game, still got their uniforms on, and they will sit there and listen to history.
Right.
Because there's a difference between reading it in a book and having to memorize dates and actually walking through it.
Right.
And listening to it. Right. So I love, like, okay, teenagers don't like learning about history, but when you bring them to the seminary, they do. They will listen. And honestly, most of the time they listen better than most adults. Okay.
Oh, for sure.
They love it.
And they ask the like important questions too. You
right.
know, they really do. Well, they're like, oh, wow, you were paying attention. Let me see. What did I just...
Yeah. I did have a girl ask, like, what would they have for dinner? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, food? Probably meat, potatoes, a vegetable, bread. I don't know.
Let's see. What time frame was that? Yeah. They farmed everything.
Right.
So...
Taco Tuesdays? I don't freaking know.
Tacos probably didn't even exist back then. They're like, taco what? We have potatoes, carrots, and the chicken that we just like slaughtered.
Right. Because there were like barns and everything. So
yeah, right. Ace wants to know how many people ran their hands over the stairwell banisters.
It's just it's just so cool to think about, you know.
But even like the old furniture and the old architecture, like you don't get that in these houses anymore. Like the design that you have in your walls, the molding around your ceilings, it's like you don't get that anymore.
Has anyone ever seen the hinges at the seminary? Because they're freaking phenomenal.
Oh yeah, those and it's the little things like that you discover. Like when at the Detroit 6. Ed would say, he would find licenses between the wall, like,
Nice.
where people hid their license so they couldn't be found, because back then they didn't have computers, so everything was written in a book. So
Right.
you could make up a name and
That's
you could be
funny.
John Doe's
Right.
number 30, and
There
they'd have to
wasn't
go with it
facial
'cause
recognition,
they
so
didn't have fingerprint testing back then either.
Right.
It was literally a book, and then you had somebody sitting behind a desk and looking in the book as they made a call in from
Right.
their radio call. And it's definitely fun, like you said, a time capsule to go back
Yeah.
and
it's just so
picture all that when
Yeah.
when you're telling the stories, and it's like a movie playing in your head when somebody's
Right.
talking. So
Right.
I
And
get it.
it's so cool to be part of it. Like people, I get to tell people the story of this building. And for whatever my small part is, like now I'm part of this history. Like
Right.
I'm part of the history that I think about all the time.
Right.
I'm just
Right.
super nerdy like that.
Now, what is your favorite piece of history in that building?
Like things that we found?
Things either that you found or you talk about, what's your favorite part?
Oh my gosh. Well, there's a ton of parts. I mean, I love the whole tour. But we just a couple months ago were investigating, like just the crew, and we were up in the attic and we looked, and I was like, is that a chimney? Because it kind of looked like there was a chimney against the wall. Not that went all the way through the roof, but you could see like the top of it.
Mm-hmm.
So then Shelly's son Zach goes over and he puts his head down there. He's like, yeah, there's still soot down here. So then it was a scavenger hunt. Then we were like, we don't care about investigating anymore, because we were like, we just found something cool. So we started looking around, and there's chimneys all along the walls. And then he finds this other hole, and he sticks his head down. He's like almost waist deep going down into this hole in the floor of the attic. And he's like, I could see wallpaper down here. And we're like, what? And then he said there's like a gap in the ceiling, between the ceiling and the floor, that's like probably 3 feet. So there's plenty of space down there. But he found an old medicine bottle.
Oh, nice.
Like early 1900s, and it still had the label with our doctor's name on it.
Oh, that's a cool find.
Right?
Yes. And that's the kind of stuff that like makes you want to like, oh my God. And then you got to put it away so nobody steals it.
Yeah.
Put it in the showcase.
Well, that was my dog. Yeah, we get so excited when we find stuff like that, because, when Adam bought the building, there was like nothing in it.
Right.
So we don't have the luxury that a lot of other buildings have, where they still have like, their artifacts and their records and all of that stuff there. Like,
right.
So anytime we find even a teeny tiny piece, we get so excited.
Right. Well, I know like Ed, he said when he bought it, it was in the middle of the winter time, so it was ice covered, thick, and so he had 40 dumpsters, I believe he said.
Oh my gosh.
40 dumpsters worth of garbage that he had to go through. So, of course, as he's going through all this ice-covered, snow-covered, water-covered materials, he's finding stuff and that belonged to the jail. So, he had the original records, like the record-keeping book.
That's cool.
He found, like I said, a driver's license, in between, some cupboards and stuff. And I was like, so it's those finds. Yeah, those are exciting. And, I mean, I wasn't part of it back then, but, being part of it for the year that we got to experience it was amazing.
Yeah. I hate how quick history seems to get erased.
Mm-hmm.
Like
especially nowadays.
Yeah, the city of Menor just tore down an old mansion that was built in 1817. It was called the Sawyer House, and they tore it down so that they could build a Trader Joe's. Now, let me tell you, that city has plenty of spaces where Trader Joe's could have gone.
Right.
There's an empty Toys R Us. There's an empty, 16 empty stores, giant ones.
And they don't want the ones that were, they want to build from the ground up, and it's so stupid. It's like, and those buildings have been sitting. How long has Toys R Us been closed?
Right.
4 years now? 4 or 5 years?
Yeah. tear that down. Nobody cares about that building. That's not anybody's history. That's not, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I feel like if a building is in sepia tone pictures, it should not be allowed to be torn down. You know, we should
Right.
do what we can to restore it.
And
And
then
I
it,
actually
and
was
then it's
super
sad. And then what's sad is like somebody could have bought that and done like what all these other owners of these historical
right,
buildings do, open them up to the public so you can
right,
get a history of the building and help with the restoration. You know,
right,
to make it back to its former glory. You know.
right. Yeah, I was so upset about that. I was you know, writing to the mayor. I was tagging them in Facebook and super angry posts, you know, tagging the entire city of Menor. Um, you know, I was really upset about it, and a friend of mine actually went to the site when the building got torn down and borrowed a foundation stone from the house and brought it to me. So I have it in my
Oh,
front yard now.
right.
Um, because I just, you know, she's like, I know you're really upset, so I got you
Oh.
this.
Well,
Well,
that was
thanks.
nice.
Yeah,
That is, yeah. I mean, some of those things are important, though. You know,
yeah,
like you want to have a little bit of history. I mean, I feel like the more I'm into the paranormal, the more I'm becoming a history. Like I want to know the history of the
yeah,
places, and then you're
yeah,
like, oh, I wish I could take a little bit with me, and but
right.
you can't. You can't. That would be stealing. Can't do
Yeah,
that.
if I'm being honest, when I go on investigations at other places, like I'm 90% there for the tour
Yeah.
and to look at the building, you know.
Right.
Um, I mean, the investigation's fun, but I love seeing old buildings.
See, I like seeing the old buildings, but I would prefer to have the history tour after I
Yeah, but I'm
investigate.
not psychic, so I don't give a shit about that. I don't need to test myself. I don't, you know. I always, and it works out perfect because Shelly and I usually go together, and Shelly
Right.
will pick up on things. So she doesn't like to get the history tour, which
Yeah.
is perfect because I go and I soak it all in. Like
Right.
I love it. And then, you know, something will happen and I'll be like, yep, because fun fact, in whatever year, like probably not
Right.
a year because that's a date, but you know, I'll tell her like when these people own the building, this happened, and I get to verify the things that she's
That's
experiencing.
that's what my teammates do. They go on the tour for me and I stay
Yeah,
behind. Sometimes I go on the tour, but half the time I'm not paying attention. I'm like
yeah,
just feeling it out. And I'm like, but most of the time they go on the tour and I stay behind. Um, just because I don't want to cloud my judgment.
right.
Um, and then they tell me later, you know, oh yeah, that happened. I was like,
Yeah.
great, thanks.
It works out good, you
It
know,
does.
especially if your team likes to hear the history. I love to hear the history, so I'll go
I love the
listen.
hit too. I just want to hear it afterwards.
Yeah,
So I'm like trying to get one of them to record it for me.
yeah, that's a good idea.
That's what I need to start doing. Okay, record the history so I
Right.
can review it later.
Yeah. I
But
usually just ramble on like the entire ride home and tell Shelly all of the stories that I just learned about the place, and then she'll tell me experiences she had, you know, and they usually correlate.
right. No,
That's
that's
fun.
cool. I mean, I've been actually trying to write things in a book, you know, it's just so I have it written down because probably at the end of the night I'm so tired I will probably forget everything that I felt
Yeah,
or
that's a good
seen.
idea.
So I try to write down things in a book, and of course it's chicken scratch, and some of it I
Right.
can't see because
As
you
long
know
as you could read it, whatever.
reading it in the dark, writing it in the dark. You're like writing over
Yeah,
words. You're like, what did I write there?
yeah.
But now, like, what is your favorite spirit? Who's your favorite spirit in the? Do you have one?
No.
No.
Here's why. I'm chicken shit, if I'm being honest. So anyone who I have experiences with, I'm not like a super fan of it. I'm not, because I'm not psychic. I'm not picking up on the fact that they're happy to see me. I'm just picking up on the fact that holy shit, I just saw them. So I don't know. I know that sounds terrible. I don't have a favorite. I will forever, while I'm investigating, ask what they need, what I can do for them, you know, whatever.
Mhm.
And if they ask for something that's reasonable, I will make it happen.
Right.
But that doesn't mean I have a favorite. You know.
Oh. Now what are some of the spirits that are in there? I know Sarah and the
I mean, I don't know
doctor.
that there is a Sarah.
No.
You know, There's a million different theories on that. We definitely don't have time for that.
Okay. No, we have 25 minutes.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like Madison's like changes all the time. Because it'll be weird because just randomly one weekend, like we had oh God, what was the name? It was some name. It was a lady's name. We'll just say it was Janice, whatever. It was weird because 3 different sets of people on the public hunt picked up that name on whatever device that they were using. And then all 3 of them within, while talking to that same person, picked up that she was a cook.
Oh.
That was the first time I ever heard that. You know what I mean? And
right.
And it doesn't mean that, she worked at the seminary. It could have just been somebody that came with someone and was like, hey, all these people can hear me, and I'm going to talk to them.
Right.
I feel like it's just.
We've actually wondered that too. Like I've actually wondered how many times does somebody bring a spirit with them and people are like, oh my gosh, it's a new spirit in the place. And it's like, no, they're kind of attached to that person and they just hear us like, and then I wonder how many spirits travel with somebody else and then stay at a location because it's fun to them, like, I mean, these are the stupid questions that come across my mind. I don't ever really say them out loud half the time, but I'm just like, I wonder what, like, I mean, because I feel the same way too. Like, like we went to Wildwood last year and they have you document, write a story. And I'm like looking at it. I actually took time and read like most of the stories in there. And, I was like, everybody's got different names. Like, like I picked up Lucy up at the top floor. And so I wrote about Lucy and I was like, this is what I felt and picked up. So maybe somebody else will pick her up too.
Right. And I feel bad because I think people come there like expecting for us to be like, oh, well, this is Sally's room. And this is, you know what I mean? Like, but when we get so many names and so many different stories and whatever, like it's hard for us to be like, yeah, this is definitely this,
Right.
And I feel bad because people will be like, oh, have you ever gotten the name John? Well, yeah, that's a pretty freaking common name,
Right.
Have you ever gotten the name Sally? Yeah. You know how many Sallys there were? Like,
right.
It's hard because we don't have any proof, well, of anything really, but.
And that's a true statement too, because Ace and I have talked about it while we're sitting there, while the people are at the Detroit 6 and we're like, how many times do we really get their real names, because they might say, oh, your name's John. And they're like, oh, yeah, that's me, because I want to be heard. I really want to be heard. So I'm going to say my name is John today,
Yeah.
So we really don't know what their real names are,
right.
I mean, I can see possibly having those names if so many people on so many different days picks up the same name,
right, in the same spot,
and the same storyline, the same words or whatever come across. Then I could say, yep, that's that spirit that's there,
Right. But then at the same time, like, if you guys say we have people for 3 months in a row experience the exact same thing and they're getting the same name in the same place, but then maybe that person decided to move on. Maybe they got whatever they needed. Maybe they just needed to tell their story. And so now they're gone. Or maybe they hitched a ride somewhere else with somebody and went to a different location.
Right.
And then we have somebody else come in. Like, even if people are getting the same experiences, it's probably not going to stay that way.
No, I agree with you. And it's hard, like we're really trying to figure out why can we communicate with spirits? Why are they stuck here?
Right.
I mean, everybody has if you're a religious person, you think this is their purgatory, Other people might think purgatory is different. And I'm like, who knows? Like I always say, I think we're talking to other human beings on a parallel universe,
Right. Right. We have no freaking clue.
We have no idea. And it's just fun trying to figure it out though.
And that's kind of another reason I like the history part of it, because it's something that can't be like argued. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like
right,
it doesn't change. It's, like I
right,
could tell you these stories and I know they're going to be the same 100 years from now
right,
because that's the history. It's not, Sally from room 27.
right.
This is what happened.
Exactly. I mean, like in the six, Ed had pictures of the Purple Gang and the military on the ground, right in the doorway that he was standing and telling the story about. So yeah, we know
Yeah.
that the Purple Gang was involved with the Detroit 6th precinct. So
Right.
you
Right.
know,
Yeah.
Ray Gooseby, I'm gonna never mind. You had me dying before the show started. Just saying.
Did you order your shoes?
Did you order your shoes? That's all we want to know. We triple dog dare you.
Put them on an Amazon wish list. Somebody will get them for you.
Right. And you shut up, Ray.
It's so funny. I didn't know that was his name for the longest time.
Oh, because we all call him Goose.
Yeah, and because before Facebook was stupid and decided to make him change his name to his real name, his name was Goose Gooseby on Facebook forever.
Right.
And I'm sitting on the porch talking to Kimmel one day, and he's like, "Yeah, and I think Ray's coming up," and I'm like, "Dude, who the fuck is Ray?" He's like, "Are you kidding me?"
Well, that's like Heisenberg. I always call him Heidelberg for some reason. Like I changed his name.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's his name?
It's not even his real name anyway, so you can change it. It's fine.
I probably wouldn't even know his real name because you all call him Heisenberg.
Right.
Yeah, I love my Heisenberg sticker too, by the way.
I know. Oh my God, they're fantastic. I put one on the back of my tablet, and every time I take it out, I just laugh, like audibly out loud laugh when I see his sticker because it's so amazing.
And you and Goose need to get your own stickers now too.
I know.
I can put them on. No, but still, I can put them on my case, and it'll be, I mean, do you see my shirt today?
I know. I like how you have one on. I don't.
I put it on because remember at the Pottergraphs, I was like, I don't know if I have a shirt or not. I came home and was digging through my. I'm like, I got a shirt. I'm glad I didn't buy one. I already have one.
I know. I think I have like 6
Eddie
now.
Pence wants a lighter.
Eddie, we got new lighters. I just got them in.
Oh,
look at that. Oh, and they got the Beetlejuice vibes on the back.
Beetlejuice.
Those are cool.
Yeah, that's fun. What a great. He typed something and it's not even there. Okay, Goose.
That's weird.
Isn't it? I don't know. Facebook's being weird.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, I think they spy in Messenger too, by the way.
Oh, for sure.
I sent a meme to a friend, and all of a sudden I was watching, and it disappeared right in front of my eyes. I was like, "Did you remove that?" Because it said message unavailable, and I was like, oh, "Damn assholes!"
Oh my gosh!
Family show.
Is it? I've been swearing the whole time for 43 minutes. You should have told me a long time ago.
I haven't even noticed.
You know me. You know I need a warning.
I didn't even notice you were cussing. That's how much I cussed that I didn't even notice you were doing it.
I would like to apologize to anyone who is offended by my language.
Sorry, that's how much I cuss. I don't even realize you did it.
If you are offended by language, please don't tune into the Cryptic Paranormal Show.
Yeah, that's up next in 15 minutes. Denise is on for 3 hours tonight, so couple of sailors. Yes, we are. Yes. And we're proud of it.
Yeah.
It's funny. My brother always yells at me. He's when I cuss on Facebook. He's like, "Stop cussing," and I'm like, "I know when to be a lady and when not to be a lady."
Yeah. I mean, I can be professional, but also like I'm a very like animated person. Like everything that I do is extra. Okay. Whether it's happiness, sadness, loving people, you know what I mean? Like everything I do is extra. So why would my language not be? It just doesn't make sense.
Right. Sorry.
That's
Teenagers
okay.
She's driving now. Oh, don't forget to shut the door.
Were you born in a barn?
I know, right? Yeah, sassy.
Yeah, that's a
My,
whole different
my
thing.
microphone picks up everything, though. You will hear a pin drop.
Oh, it wasn't that bad.
D-Nice Marathon. Yes, she's on all night.
I am so sorry. That's way too long.
I might have to come on that second. No, wait, you're on. You said soon you're gonna do that.
Yeah.
Ray, you're gonna have to come on the show one day, probably in June, because July and August I'm gonna take off.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm gonna have them hold my spot, but July and August I'm gonna take a break from doing this because it's summertime and my kids like to go to the beach after work and stuff. So we have a local beach because we're right by the water, and so we like to do that if it's nice out, you know.
Yeah, I love it. You know what? We're like 5 minutes from Lake Erie, and it's so much better than the ocean. I'm sorry. I said it. Because we still have the beach, you know, we could still go swimming, whatever, but we don't have like giant waves that are going to swallow my children.
Oh yeah, right.
We don't have jellyfish or sharks or those weird stones that you step on that sting your feet. Like we don't have any of that stuff, but we still get to go to the beach. So
we just have seaweed that gets tangled around our ankles.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, what was that?
But here's an interesting fact about me that I don't admit often. That is one of my worst fears is seaweed. Mm-hmm. I know it's irrational. I know that I am a grown woman and I can pull seaweed off of my leg. But for some reason, my brain is like, nope, that's going to kill you. If it touches my leg.
No, I get it. That's why I keep posting the Spider Saga. Like I know it's not going to harm me. I know. And yes, I did hold a tarantula in November.
Yeah, I was very proud of you.
For 30 seconds with my breath hold because she goes, don't breathe on it. And I'm like, what do you mean don't breathe on it?
Don't breathe on it.
That's what she said. She goes, don't breathe on it. And I was like, what do you mean? Don't breathe on it.
Where am I supposed to breathe?
I know, right? I'm like,
because you can't turn your head because then you're not looking at it and you're not going to know if it attacks you. Like you have to be staring at it.
And so I have a window right out in my office. And that's only my office since the pandemic started. Usually we're in a cubicle, so I don't have to enjoy those spiders. But yep, I enjoy these ones. They're huge. You've seen my pictures.
Yeah.
And I will be talking to a client on the phone and I see it from the corner of my eye just come down. And I was like, oh God. They're like, what? I'm like, there's a spider. And they're like, oh no. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry. Terrified.
Yeah.
So I think I'm trying to overcome them by posting the videos. I tried to stun him. He came back. He was not dead. My coworkers wanted to kill him, and so she sprayed him with Lysol.
Oh, geez.
And he fell down, and then like 3 days later, I saw him again. I was like, oh, yay.
Oh, my gosh.
I didn't kill him. I promise.
I don't care if you do.
Most people don't, but there's one person that, likes spiders, so... As what I just mentioned to Goose, I want to be on your podcast, but I have another 78 more days in Facebook jail. I'll get with you around July. I asked you a long time ago, Eddie, so I don't know who you're talking to, either D-Nice or me, because we both have podcasts here, buddy.
Right.
Who you specifying? And how did you land yourself in Facebook jail?
I got threatened with Facebook jail today.
Oh, what'd you do?
One of my friends posted that her son's baby daddy's new girlfriend signs her notes, "Love, Mom."
Oh.
And I commented and I said, I have never been in a fight in my life. I am not a confrontational person. If somebody writes "Love, Mom" on something to any of my children, I'd cut a B.
Oh yeah, you can't. Yeah, you can't say the word "cut." I learned. I said the word "kick butt" and got myself restricted for 28 days. So all my posts went lower in the feed, whatever that meant, because people were still commenting on my stuff.
Right.
And then Yeah, I couldn't post or comment for 24 hours. So I was
Oh my
like, oh,
gosh.
that's, and like all because I told my paranormal BFF Bart Costy that I was gonna kick his butt. I was like, really? Like,
I feel like there's a lot more things that they should be worried about. And
for real? Like, and then you go back 5 years. Hi. see,
Right?
mom show.
um,
We knew it would happen. You
Yeah.
hear mine, you see hers. You know.
yeah.
Oh, he said both. we could do a 3 hours.
I know
podcast with
that
Eddie Pence.
obviously our phones like spy on us, right? Because you'll be like in your living room talking with your kids and you're like, man, that window is really dirty. And then ads will come up for Windex, you know, like, okay. I do I agree with it? No. Am I going to get rid of my smartphone? Absolutely not. I need it. You know,
Right.
90% of my work is done on my phone. But I really, really hope that they're using those powers for things like catching, you know, child trafficking rings and
Right.
things like that. Like, I hope that they're doing something good with all of that.
And it's funny because it's like all social media, TikTok,
Yeah.
Instagram, all of them are like, you can't. I'm like, could you read the context? And not only that, give us a chance to explain what our
Right.
sentence meant. Like, you're taking it out of context.
Right.
Like, can we explain to you? Can you have an explanation period
Yeah.
of like, you have 2 days to explain what you meant by this?
Yeah. And then
we'll just-
actually have somebody read it.
Right. Not just the machine, you know, the robots.
Yeah.
But they're like Eddie Pence just said, he posted something 2 years ago and got, you know, restricted, and it's stupid. Why are you going so far back?
Right.
Like, and so I've been encrypting the words, you know, I use symbols in place of letters in my words. So I'm encrypting the words.
That's good. I mean, if that works.
It seems to. They haven't caught on yet. But
good.
I was just like amazed at the messenger. I was like, oh, that idiot. So
Right.
watch what you post in Messenger too. Just
It's so
saying.
ridiculous.
Don't send
So
inappropriate memes to people.
Right.
Like, I mean, seriously, it's just a stupid meme that I was like, wow, really? That was
I feel like we need to just stop doing that.
what?
Like, stop taking away things because they're offensive. Like,
Well, yeah.
maybe we should teach people to not be offended.
Exactly.
Like, it's just the internet. It's just a stranger on the internet who posted a meme.
Right.
Like, there's no need to be offended by that.
But it's just the culture right now. It's like,
Right.
why are we so sensitive to every
Right.
little thing? Just like I was saying before, I'm like, I wish we could go back to the old days of taking care of business in the parking lot. You know,
Right.
like now you can't even say anything like that without somebody. I'm dialing the blah, 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 you
Right.
know. Oh, come on.
Right. Like, if you
Oh,
can
look
be,
at, we got someone from Wales in the UK. Awesome.
well,
Hello, welcome. We have about 8 minutes left, but you can continue watching Denise on the Cryptid Paranormal Show. That's right after mine. She's on for 3 hours today. Woo-hoo.
Yeah.
She's gonna probably talk in what's the tongue by the time she's done. You won't understand her.
Or I'm just gonna be sleeping on my microphone snoring.
Somebody did that before on their show. It was,
Oh,
I'm not going to name names, but it happened about 2 years ago. They had
Right.
one of those call-in rate, you know.
Like the
It was-
telethon?
No, it was a call-in podcast where you listen over the rate, like over the phone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they're snoring, like, and then they wouldn't answer. Like the people are calling their name, and then they totally denied it. And I'm like, yeah, you can't deny that.
That's fantastic.
You can't.
Yeah, if I'm
deny
sleeping,
that.
you're definitely gonna know. I snore very loud.
I don't know who doesn't snore anymore.
Yeah.
I know I snore.
You will what, Ace?
I was gonna say, you will what?
Right?
If I get dared. Buy the shoes? I thought you already had the shoes. I mean,
Are we talking about the shoes?
I know. What are we talking about?
Ace just randomly comes in like 47 minutes later and he's like, I will if you dare me.
Oh.
Ace. It was oh.
Oh, tell the name. I triple dog dare you. Go for it. He knows. That's true. Go for it. I'm not naming names, but it was funny.
Are you guys gonna go to the Paris Icon at OSR
When is that?
in May?
No. We're going with Eddie Pence to Wildwood and Hinsdale.
Nice. That's a good weekend trip, you know?
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be
it's-
fun. It's
Yeah.
gonna be fun. Because Darren Smith is going too.
Oh my gosh, what? Goose, if you're still on, I'm not going to the Paris Icon. I'm going with them. That'll be
It
fun.
depends on what weekend it is. No, we have like a lot of stuff in May.
Yeah. I'm so excited. Like
Yeah.
we started doing flashlight tours again at the seminary, you know, because it's really cold in the wintertime. Like people don't want to come out for that.
Right.
You know. So we started doing flashlight tours again. Dude, I get so pumped. I love when it's busy like that.
Well, and you know, it's funny because you almost have to do your investigations during the spring and fall because in the summertime, these buildings are so hot. Like,
Yeah.
so hot, you're like, I'm melting. I'm going to melt right into the floor. You
Right?
know, like FairCon. We did the first FairCon. We bought the tickets to investigate, and I think I lasted about 20 minutes in the building. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm hot. Get me out.
Right.
But that was funny though when you took me on the tour, and you're like, that's the men's wing. They don't like it when the women go over there. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'm going over there. And what happened? What happened? Do you remember?
Did I not tell you?
Do you remember what happened?
No.
The bat came out of nowhere and chased us down the steps.
Oh yeah. Didn't something happen to Ace on the women's side too?
I don't remember.
Yeah. I swear.
God.
I swear.
Eddie Pence.
Oh gosh. Aqua debate.
Yeah, there's a whole story that Ace will tell one day. One day when I can get him to come on the podcast, he'll tell that story.
Nice.
Yeah, Jerry, we only have 3 minutes left. Thanks,
Right.
buddy. Thanks. It's okay though. You can rewatch the show and comment later.
Right.
But yeah, it was funny because I was like, you're like, yeah, don't go over there. That's the men's ward. They don't like when women come over there. I'm like, yeah, whatever. They're dead. I'm alive. And sure shit, a bat comes out of nowhere, out of nowhere, and chased us down the step.
Like all of the rules that they've found, you know, they found all these like rule books, and like every single thing is like, it's very strict about like the women are not allowed on the men's side and the men are not allowed on the women's side. And it's funny because one of the most active rooms in that building is the women's jail cell.
Mm-hmm.
And I have slept in that room, and I am a scaredy cat, and I still am super comfortable in that room.
Right.
Here's why. I'm a woman, and most of the things that I do I would end up in there. You know, so I probably go in there and they're like, well, she's right where she needs to be. We're not going to bother her.
Right.
You know? Because you could be put in there for swearing.
Right.
You could be put in there for talking to a male, even if it's like your child.
Right.
So, you know, I would have been in there anyway. So probably
I know I would have been in there.
Yeah. They're like, leave her in there. That's where she belongs.
All right. Well, we have 1 minute left. So I want to say thank you for joining us. Have fun on the next 2 hours.
Right.
Hopefully you don't fall asleep or start talking in tongue by the end of your show. But
I will try not to.
Next week I have Stephanie Smith from the Haunted Shanley Hotel as a guest on my show. Again, next is the Cryptic Show, so stay tuned for that. It goes from 8 to 10. And I don't think there's anything on the Things Network right now. So y'all have fun. Enjoy your night and see you next week. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.